Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start our continuation of from the last 2 weeks. But let's do the prayers first. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhu Bhava Swaha, Tatsavitra Varenayam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Diyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Asto ma satgamya, tamso ma jyotirgamya, mrityurma amritam gamya. Om Sehna Vavatu, Sehna Bhunaktu, Saviryam Karvavahi, Tejasvi Navadhitamastu, Ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Today we're gonna start with looking at why do we blow the conch? I'm sure you have seen the conches. You might have it in your own home also. In the temples especially, they blow it. So when the conch is blown, the primordial sound of Om emanates. Om is an auspicious sound that was chanted by the Lord before creating the world. Oh. It represents the world and the truth behind it. As the story goes, the demon Shankh Asur defeated Devatas and went to the bottom of the ocean. The Devatas appeared to Lord Vishnu and they appealed to him, and then he incarnated as Matsya Avatar. I'm sure you're all familiar with this. The fish incarnation and killed Shankh Asur. The Lord blew the conch-shaped bone of his ear and head. The Om sound emanated from which emerged the Vedas, they say. All knowledge enshrined in the Vedas is an elaboration of Om. I'm sure you know that if we just look at the summary of the Vedas, it's a Gayatri mantra, and the summary of the Gayatri mantra is Om. That means everything is Om. Everything is God. So the conch, therefore, is known as Shankh, after Shankh Asur. And the conch blown by the Lord is called Panchjanya also. You remember that Lord Krishna's Panchjanya? He carries it at all times in one of his 4 hands. So Lord Vishnu's conch. It represents dharma, righteousness. That is one of the 4 goals or purusharths of life. What are the other 3? Dharma is 1, arth, kama, and moksha. 4 purusharths. The sound of conch is thus also the victory call of good over evil. And another well-known purpose of blowing the conch and the instruments known traditionally to produce auspicious sounds is to drown or mask negative elements or noises that may disturb or upset the atmosphere or the minds of the worshippers. Okay, because there's always some kind of a sound. Sometimes people cooking in the kitchen. Sometimes the little baby is crying. Sometimes people walking in or leaving in the temple area. So when conch is blown or that vibration is there, it just drowns those sounds. Ancient India lived in the villages. Each village was presided over by a primary temple and several small ones. I'm sure you have visited some villages. Always there is a temple there. And during the arti performed after all important pujas and on sacred occasions, the conch used to be blown. And those villages were small back then. The sound of the conch would be heard all over the village. People who could not make it to the temple were reminded to stop whatever they were doing, at least for a few seconds, and mentally bow to the Lord. So it's like a reminder to them when they hear that sound. So the conch sound served to briefly elevate people's mind. See, whenever we think about God, our mind is being connected and it's being elevated to a prayerful attitude, even in the middle of their busy daily routine. So it's like a occasionally reminding ourselves for that higher purpose. In our ashram also, somebody brought a little clock which chimes every hour with a Gayatri mantra. So it's like somebody is over there cleaning. At the turn of the hour, they'll hear that Gayatri mantra. It's like a reminder. So the conch is placed at the altar in temples and homes next to the Lord as a symbol of Nad Brahma. Nad Brahma is the truth, or the Vedas, or Om, or Dharma, victory, or auspiciousness. Whatever it brings to your mind. But idea is to elevate your mind. It is often used to offer devotees Ganga Jal or Tirath Jal, say, sanctified water, to raise their minds to the highest truth. I'm sure you have seen that. Water is being poured and given it to the devotees through that conch. And often the Pandits, they say this verse. Tvam puraha sagrat panaha Vishnu vidhrutaha kare Devescha pujaarthaha sarvahi panchjanya namastute. It means salutations to Panchjanya. The conch born of the ocean, held in the hand of Lord Vishnu and worshipped by all Devtas. This is the priest is saying when they say that mantra and giving that Ganga Jal to us. Why do we say Shanti 3 times? Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Why not once? First of all, Shanti means peace. That is a natural state of being, Shanti. Disturbances are created either by others or by us. Any room we enter, there's a Shanti. We go there and create a sound. The same way our natural being is Shant, peaceful. So peace already exists in a place until someone makes a noise. Remember that. Peace underlies all our agitations. When the agitations end, peace is very naturally experienced. Why? Because it was already there. Something which was already there, we don't have to bring it from somewhere else. It was already there. Where there's a peace, there's happiness. Often we say we are doing things for happiness. But in reality, we are doing everything for peace. So everyone without exception desires peace in his or her life. Whether we are female or male, whether we are living over here or somewhere else, day or night, we always want peace. However, peace within or without seems very hard to attain because it is covered by our own agitations. A rare few manage to remain peaceful within even the midst of external agitations and trouble. Very few people. Those are the wise people. Those are the yogis. They are the dhyanis. To invoke peace, we chant prayers. By chanting prayers, troubles and peace is experienced internally, irrespective of the external disturbances. And whenever we do these prayers, we chant Shanti 3 times. Tri Varam Satyam. That which is said thrice comes true, they say. This is from the Vedas, Tri Varam Satyam. For emphasizing a point, we repeat a thing thrice. In the court of law also, one who takes the witness stands will say, I shall speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. 3 times. We chant Shanti 3 times to emphasize our intense desire for peace. All obstacles, problems, and sorrows originate from 3 sources. Adhi Devik, Adhi Bhotik, and Adhyatmik. Adi Devik means unseen divine forces over which we have little or no control, like earthquake, the floods, like which are going on in California right now, or even volcanic eruptions. We don't have any control over them. So we pray to God, please protect us from these Adi Devik occurrences. And what is Adhibhotik? These are known factors around us like accidents, human contacts, pollution, crime, etc. And Adhyatmik, we sincerely pray to the Lord that at least while we undertake special tasks or even in our daily lives, there are no problems or that problems are minimized from these sources. It's like it pertaining to me, Adhyatmik. May peace alone prevail, Shanti is chanted 3 times. And then we can further divide it at a personal level. We want a peaceful body, healthy body. We want a peaceful mind. And we want a peaceful intellect also. Okay? So there are so many different ways you can try to understand it. So basically, emphasis is that we want to have a peaceful personality, peaceful situation, so that we get to feel our real nature, which is always peaceful. So it is chanted aloud the first time. So the first Shanti is louder, addressing the unseen forces. It is chanted softer, the second one, directed to our immediate surroundings and those around, and softest the last time as it is addressed to oneself. So it's like an Om, then Om, then softer. Okay. Next question is, why do we offer a coconut? In India, one of the most common offerings in a temple is a coconut. It is also offered on occasions like weddings, festivals, the use of a new vehicle, bridge, houses, etc. It is offered in the sacrificial fire also. While performing the yajna, I often use a small dry piece of coconut when I do the havan. The coconut is broken and placed before the Lord. It is later distributed as prasad also. So not the dry one, but when you offer the whole coconut, this is what we do, offer it to God and then later on broken. The fiber covering of the dry coconut is removed except for a tuft on the top when you offer it. The marks on the coconut make it look like the head of a human being. The coconut is broken, symbolizing the breaking of the ego, because it is like a broken. We need to break our ego, because ego is the one which is keeping us away from God or even away from others. The juice within representing the inner tendencies, which are called vasanas, is offered along with the white kernel, the mind, to the Lord. So it's almost like a breaking it and pouring it at the feet of Lord. A mind thus purified by the touch of the Lord is used as prasad. So that kernel inside is touched at the feet of God. In the traditional Abhishek ritual, which is done in all temples and homes also, several materials are poured over the deity, like milk, yogurt, honey, coconut water, sandal paste, holy ash, etc. Each material has a very significance for bestowing certain benefits on worshippers. So tender coconut water is used to Abhishek rituals because it is believed that it bestows spiritual growth for the seeker. Coconut also symbolizes selfless service. Every part of the tree, if you look at it, the trunk, the leaves, the fruit, or even the coir is used many different ways. Mats are made from coconut. Tasty dishes are made, oil, soap, etc. So it takes coconut tree takes the salty water from the earth and converts it into a sweet and nutritive water that is especially beneficial to sick people. Lately, it has become so popular, coconut water, in this country also. It is used in the preparation of many Ayurvedic medicines and in other alternative medicinal systems. So that's why I said it symbolizes selfless service. The marks on the coconut are even thought to represent the three-eyed Lord Shiva. If you have seen a coconut, when you take that green, smooth skin out and take all those fiber out, you see three eyes on it. I'm sure you all have seen it. So it represents the three-eyed Lord Shiva, and it is considered to be a means to fulfill our desires. Why do we chant Om? We talk about Om all the time. Why do we chant? Why Om, not anything else? Om is one of the most chanted sound symbols in India. It has a profound effect on the body and mind. of the person who chants it. And not only to the person, but the surroundings also. Most mantras and Vedic prayers start with Om. Oh, we all know that. All auspicious actions begin with Om. Some people even use this Om as a greeting. Hari Om or Om. It is repeated as a mantra or meditated upon also. Its form is worshipped, contemplated upon, or used as an auspicious sign also. Om is the universal name of the Lord. That formless Brahma can be represented in a form of Om. It is made up of 3 sounds. It's like when we look at it phonetically, it's like a like a, then it's like a U, and then M. But then between 2 Oms, there is a silence also. So you say Om, then silence, then Om again. Lips, they need to be closed when we end it. The mouth. So the 3 letters symbolize the 3 states also. Waking, dream, and dream deep sleep. 3 states. These are called Jagrat, Swapan, and Sushupti. 3 states of consciousness. It also represents 3 deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. 3 Vedas, Rig, Yajur, and Sam. 3 worlds, Bhu, Bhava, Swa. The Lord is all these and beyond. That's why the little silence. So God is here, there, and even beyond there, and even beyond that also. Everywhere. There's no place where God is not. So the formless, attributeless Brahma is represented by the silence between 2 Om chants. And that's also called the 4th level of consciousness. Okay? Turiya Avastha, 4th. Om is also called Pranav. That means that symbol or sound by which the Lord is praised, the entire essence of Vedas enshrined in the word Om. Pranav. It is said that the Lord started creating the world after chanting Om and At. Its sound is considered to create an auspicious beginning for any task we undertake. So if we cannot memorize big mantras, at least Om. Whenever we start something, in the morning when we get up, Om. Before we sleep at night, Om. The Om chant should have the resounding sound of a bell. It's like a Om. Not just a Om, because when we look at AUM, we think it's Om. But no, it has to have a resounding. Om is written in different ways in different places. The most common form symbolizes Lord Ganesha's. I'm sure you have seen it. Upper curve is the head, the lower large one, the stomach, the side one, the trunk, and the semicircular mark with the dot. It's like a sweet meat ball, like a modak. You're all familiar with in Lord Ganesha's hand. So Om symbolizes everything. The means and the goal of life, the world and the truth behind it, the material and the sacred, all forms and the formless also. So that's why I said earlier that Om really, for the formless Brahma, Om is the name. Okay. Why do we do Aarti? In the temples we do Aarti, at homes we do Aarti. Why do we do it? Towards the end of every ritualistic worship, whether it's a kirtan, a bhajan kirtan, or a havan, or any other kind of a puja, or even when we welcome an honored guest or saint, we perform the Aarti. This is always accompanied by the ringing of the bell and sometimes by singing, playing of the musical instruments, or even clapping. If there's nothing else available, we clap. Little music. This is one of the 16 steps, Shodash Upachar, of the puja. Shodash means 16. There are 16 different ways, the steps we go through to do the puja. If we have time, I'll go through those 16 steps also today. It is referred to as the lighted lamp in the right hand, which we wave in a clockwise, or we put a diya in the plate and we just do the clockwise. So some people just hold that big lamp in the hand and do the Aarti like that. Some people put it in the plate and go around the deity. But the circling movement to light the entire form of the Lord, that's what we do. Each part is revealed individually and also the entire form of the Lord. So that means sometimes we do it only at the feet, sometimes only at the head, and then we go through the whole form also. As the light is waved, we either do mental or loud chanting of prayers or simply behold the beautiful form of the Lord, illumined by the lamp. At the end of the Aarti, we place our hands over the flame and then gently touch our eyes like this and on top of our head. This is a ritual. We have seen and participated in this ritual from our childhood. We are all familiar with this. Let us find out why do we do Aarti. Having worshipped the Lord of Love, performing Abhishek, decorating the image, and offering fruits and other delicacies, we see the beauty of the Lord in His glory. Our minds are focused on each limb of the Lord as the lamp lights it up. So with the help of that light, we look at it. It is almost like a silent, open-eyed meditation on the beauty of Lord. The singing, clapping, ringing of the bell, etc., denote the joy and auspiciousness which accompanies the vision of the Lord. So we are looking at our beloved with the help of that light. In the temples, Aarti is often performed with the camphor. This holds a spiritual significance. Camphor, when lit, burns itself completely without leaving a trace of it. The pure camphor is like that. You burn it, not even an ash left behind. It represents our inherent tendencies, the vasanas. When lit by the fire of knowledge, which illumines the Lord, that means the truth, our vasanas burn themselves out completely. So that Jnana Agni extinguishes all our vasanas, all our karmas. There's not leaving a trace of ego which creates in us a sense of individuality that keeps us separate from the Lord. So that's why we burn camphor. That's what it signifies. Also, white camphor burns to reveal the glory of Lord. It emits a very pleasant perfume. Even when it's sacrificing itself, there's a perfume, beautiful fragrance coming out. In our spiritual progress, even as we serve the Guru and society, we should willingly sacrifice ourselves. And we got to spread this perfume of love to all. We often wait a long while to see the illumined Lord, but when the arti is actually performed, our eyes close automatically. What does it mean? Eyes close automatically when we do that. Because we want to look within. The reality is already here. So this is to signify that each of us is a temple of the Lord. We should never forget that. Even though we have beautiful temples outside, but do not forget the temple right here. Just as the priest reveals the form of the Lord in the mandirs, in the temples, clearly with the arti flame, the Guru reveals to us the divinity within each of us, with the help of the flame of knowledge, or the light of the spiritual knowledge. So first we learn it in the physical manner, going to the temples. We do those rituals and find out God is there, God is here. Then Guru does his part to really reveal it to us with this Jnanagni. At the end of the arti, we place our hands over the flame and then touch our eyes and the top of the head. It means, may the light that illuminated the Lord light up my vision. May my vision be divine, Divya Chakshu, and my thoughts noble and beautiful. That's the reason we do that. The philosophical meaning of Arti extends further. The sun, moon, stars, lightning, and fire are the natural sources of light. The Lord is the source of this wondrous phenomena of the universe. It is due to him alone that all else exists and shine. As we light up the Lord with the flame of the arti, we turn our attention to the very source of all light, which symbolizes knowledge and life. Also, the sun is the presiding deity of the intellect. And the moon, that of the mind. And fire, that of the speech. The Lord is the supreme consciousness that illuminates all of them. This mouth cannot speak without the Atma. Mind cannot think without the Atma. Intellect cannot discriminate without the Atma. So Lord is the supreme consciousness that illuminates all of them. Without him, we cannot think. This tongue cannot speak. But the Lord is beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, beyond the speech. How can this finite equipment illuminate the Lord? That's why often we chant this verse, which is from the Upanishads. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarkam nema vidyito bhanti kuto ayam agnihi tamev bhantam anubhati sarvah tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. He is there where the sun does not shine, nor the moon, stars and lightning. Then what to talk of this small flame in my hand? Everything in the universe shines only after the Lord. And by his light alone are we all illumined. These are the mantras which were written by our rishis thousands and thousands of years ago. Very deep indeed to even understand. But when we do the rituals, try to keep this in mind, that there is a God everywhere. Peace is already there. We have to remove these vasanas, get rid of the ego to feel the space. That's why we do the art. And I told you that if we have time, I'll go over quickly the Shodash Upachar Puja. Some of these I'm sure you are familiar with, the 16 names I'm going to give you. Most of the time, Pandits do all of them, but I'm sure most of you do at home also. So they are symbolical representations of the various forms of expressing reverence. That's what it really means. So it's like a feeling that God is there. I'm inviting God. I'm offering water to God. God is in front of me. So when you do these upachars, make sure that your mind is connected with it. That is the main reason. Because the main purpose of doing puja this way, primarily it is to uplift the 5 senses of the worshipper. Because 5 senses which are absorbed into the material world, we need to elevate them to the higher level of consciousness. 5 senses. And secondly, it draws upon our Indian traditions of honoring even a guest, anybody who comes to our house, or service to the deity. Okay, seeing God everywhere, it helps. So let's look at, I'll just give you 16 names. We have only a few minutes. Number 1 is dhyana. That means meditating on the deity that is being invoked. So that means the mind has to be thinking about it. If we are doing a Ganesh puja, in our mind there should be a Ganesh. If we are doing a Bhagwan Krishna puja, Bhagwan Krishna should be in our mind. That's what dhyana means. Then inviting the deity into the altar, a vachan. It's just like you are inviting the deity. Then offering the seat, asana. So you're thinking about it, you are inviting it, then you're offering the seat, then padya, washing the deity's feet with clean water. Then argha, offering the deity water to rinse hands and mouth, argha. Achman, offering the deity some water to drink. Then shanan, bathing the deity with various auspicious items. Often we have rice colored with haldi. Then vastra, dressing the deity in clean clothes. Then yagya pavita, offering the deity a clean sacred thread also. Yagya pavita. Gandha, spreading fresh sandalwood paste on the deity, or just lighting some incense, gandha. Pushpa, offering fresh flowers while chanting the names of the deity. Dhoop, spreading incense smoke throughout the altar. Deep, waving a lamp to illuminate the freshly decorated deity. Navedya, offering the food to the deity. Tambul, offering the deity a refreshing mix of betel nut and leaves. Often we eat something for digestion, tambul. So this is what it is. We are creating a very personal relationship with God. And then the last one is pradakshina and namaskar. We go around or circumambulate the altar and we do the namaskar. So these are called Shodash Upchars, Puja. So that's why I said some of these you might be doing it. Some of these you might have seen Pandits doing it in the temples. But we should try to do it too. That's how we feel close to God. That's how we spend some time in our temple, in our prayer room. Otherwise, just saying hi to God from a door is not enough. Spending some time, close relationship with God. Only then there will be a communion with God. So I thought that I should mention this to you. I didn't know how many of you knew, and you already might have known all of this, but sometimes we need the details to explain it to our children and grandchildren who often ask questions. And if they ask questions, the answers should be given to them. That's our duty. So let's end the class here today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Visheshyate Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.